The 2-1. Lindor towards right center field. This one is back. It is gone! Grand slam! And Lindor puts the Mets on top. The biggest swing of the season for New York.
3-second differential. Shot clock, game clock. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Towns from 3. It's gone! Carl Anthony Towns with the dagger. 3-point field goal.
Next to regain their composure. Towns, deep 3-ball with the switch.
Mets Nation, what is going on? It is your boy David from Top Bunk Sports, and I am here with another Mets series recap. And today we are going to be recapping the series that just happened against the Miami Marlins. Now, obviously, we started off well, but didn't end well. And, there's obviously some reasons behind that, but I wouldn't say reasons. I would say more of like an excuse kind of because of this road trip that they're going in that they'll be going into tomorrow. But let's furtherless, let's get into this series, man. So obviously, the first game, all three games are gonna be cold. We already knew it. Temperature, the wind was gonna be crazy. It was gonna get cold. Hey, baseball has to be played regardless of what it is. These guys have been playing baseball for a good amount of years. They know what it is. They know exactly what it is. So, obviously it was cold, but another game where the scoring was low. We didn't get a lot of offense from this team, man. I mean, if you guys watched my previous series recap against the Blue Jays, I mentioned that in game one, that's all that it was. It was basically just, you know, it was literally just straight, Mets going off. It was literally just Mets going off 5 runs. They did what they needed to do, and then game 2 and 3, they kind of had to, sneak in, and be helped by the rest of the pitching rotation. So this one was basically the same thing here in game one. Obviously, first 2 innings, nobody scored. And then obviously, Lindor goes in the third inning with a double, if I'm not mistaken, and then Juan Soto comes in and doubles to center field, and he doubles to center field. Excuse me, Lindor didn't double. He got on base, and he stole second, and then Juan Soto doubled the opposite way to left field and scored Lindor from first. So that we were already up 1-0. Then we go to the eighth inning, where Jose Siri got on base, and Tyrone Taylor, for the second hit of the game, scored Jose Siri, and it made it 2-0. And that would be all she wrote. That would be all she wrote. Again, offense really wasn't there every inning. It was just those two. It was just those 2 runs, and it would be enough to keep the Mets where they were at. We obviously had Kodai Senga starting, but like I said before, this game, just the way game 2 and game 3 happened with the Blue Jays, it translated into game 1, and it got to a point where you were like, yo, we're super proud of this pitching staff, but when is this offense going to consistently find its way where they're just gonna put crazy runs in? Like, for example, in game 1 against Miami, when we played over there, we scored 10 runs, right? So it wasn't just Alonso hitting his grand slam. Everybody was contributing, and that's where you kind of wanted to see in this series to start, because they're we're better than this Marlins team. You can't take them lightly, right? But it got to a point where the pitching, like I said, the pitching staff had to keep them in the game. Now, shout out to Kodai Senga making his second start better than his first start. His first start was clean. I thought it was a solid start, but his second start today, not today, excuse me, uh, on that Monday against the Marlins, I thought it was exceptional. I thought it was beautiful, and it was one of those things where he kept the Mets in it. Now he went 5 innings, so he didn't go 6 innings, but he went 5 innings. He gave up 5 hits. A lot of the A lot of the pitches that he was making were, a lot of them were in the zone, and they were getting to his fastball. They really weren't touching his breaking pitches though. His forkball was on point. That forkball was on point, so they couldn't touch his uh his forkball, his ghost pitch. But when he threw his fastball, and he tried to throw his fastball a lot inside, he tried to attack the inside of the zone, and they were on it. So a lot of the 5 hits came from him throwing his fastball. Um, but he gave up no runs, only allowed 2 walks, and collected 4 big strikeouts. Kept the Mets in it the entire way through. And again, it was enough to earn himself a win. Then after that came in the bullpen. The bullpen only allowed 2 hits. That was from Danny Young and Jose Budo. But they allowed 3 walks, which 2 came from Senga and 1 came from Jose Budo. And then they collected 8 strikeouts. 4 coming from Senga, 1 coming from Danny Young, 2 coming from Jose Budo, and then 1 coming from Ryan Stanek, who earned himself his very first save as a New York Met. And the Mets would go on to win by a score of 2-0. So again, not a lot of offensive power, right? Your number 1 and 2s within Soto and Lindor were able to start it off and put us on the board. And then obviously Tyrone Taylor, who got the start, had himself a 2-for-3 game and was able to get himself an RBI to make it 2-0, scoring Jose Siri. So that was pretty much it. Like I said, a chilly night. You expected a little bit more from this offense, but again, you were still. I would say the cold kind of played a factor in it. I'm kind of giving these guys a leeway. I've always said, hey, what happens in June is where I really critique what this team is doing. And this team is playing really good baseball in the month of April. Obviously, the offense, like I said, is stale right now, and I think the cold has something to do with it. But these guys are going to get used to it little by little and get over it. Before I go into game 2, I just want to show you guys Kodai Senga's numbers and highlights all in one. So here you guys go.
2-2 coming. And the fastball hit down to first. That's a fair ball right to the bag to Alonso. And that retires the side. Senga survives to first with help from Singer. Fastball in there for a call strike 3. So after falling behind 3-1, Senga came with back-to-back fastballs, and he gets Conine for his first strikeout. Is off to a good start, hitting .333, and he goes down swinging. So Senga going to mostly fastballs here in the second inning. And Edwards goes down swinging on the forkball, so he set him up with the fastballs, got him with the ghost fork for his 4th strikeout of the night. Halfway through, 1-0 Mets.
That 5th inning, it was working perfectly. So shout out to Kodai Senga. Like I said, kept the Mets in it, had the Marlins chasing a lot, and he earned himself his first win of the season. Man, shout out to Kodai Senga. But let's get into game 2. Now, game 2, I was present for. I only went to game 2 out of the 2 games. And shout out to everybody that was at that game, because that game was pushed to 4:10 due to the extreme high wind that was going to happen around 7 o'clock. The game was originally supposed to be for 7:10, but because of how crazy the wind was going to be around that time and how cold it was going to get, they pushed it for 4:10 and give them some leeway. And yeah, man, I went to that game, and it wasn't packed. Like I said, shout out to the people that were able to get there and really, 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 really show out, because you could tell not a lot of people, even though they announced the day prior that they were going to move the time, not a lot of people showed up. And it's one of those things where I was very, very happy to kind of see that. And I was there for most of it. I'll actually show you guys at mid recording where I was sitting. So I will put that up right here and see if I can show you. So sometimes it doesn't allow me at times, but I was sitting in a pretty good spot. Let me see real quick if I can show you guys. One second, one second. Like I said, I'm showing you guys mid recording, so I'm just trying to see if I could get that going. Okay, let's see right here. So again, I saw these real quick, and I was like, dude, I was like, yo, the $30 and $30 because of how this game turned out in terms of the weather and them pushing the time back. Yo, why not? Why not? So, I took those seats and instantly um I got there. I had to work. I had to work. But right when I got to the stadium, this happened. And again, as you hear the beeping in the background, if you do, I'm sending everything all in one just to kind of go in the moment as I'm recording, because I have to do a quick recording. um I don't really have time to kind of set things up. But once I got off the train and I'm walking to the stadium, uh this happened, and I'm pissed off.
And Lindor blasts one to deep right field. Back goes Stowers at the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor with his first home run of the year. And he gets the Mets off to a fast start. 2-1 Miami. So Lindor gets a leadoff hit in the first inning for a 5th consecutive game, and this time he circles the bases. 34th at bat of the year, his first home run.
Had a 3-1 count here, and the ball will go out to right field. Left field, you're going to need a howitzer to get it out.
And the best part of that game too is that not only did we see Lindor's first home run of the season, excuse me, but it was Clay Holmes' first game at Citi Field. So I was very intrigued. Like I wanted to see Clay Holmes his first game, his first start at Citi Field. And I think he delivered. Excuse me. I think he delivered really well. He struggled in the first inning, obviously had the bases loaded. Um, and he gave up 2 runs out of that. But after the first inning, man, he went completely off. He went completely off, and again, that's kind of what you want from a guy like that. That's kind of what you expect. Shout out to him, like I said, shout out to him for doing that. I think at the end of the day, when you're able to settle in that type of environment with everything going on, Clay Holmes did exactly what he needed to do. I'm very proud of the guy. Um, just one moment, because I did want to read a stat that I put out there when I tweeted while I was live tweeting. Actually, you know what I'll do? Because there is okay. Let me see. I got it right here. So this is literally I posted this after I had posted the video that I showed you guys, courtesy of SNY of Lindor hitting his home run. And I will share my screen in a bit just so you guys can see it right here. Okay. So bam. So here we go. So Clay Holmes obviously
Atta boy, let's go. Atta boy.
he was already cruising. He was already cruising. But after that first inning, I put, after that first inning, I said, since his struggles in the first inning, Clay Holmes has collected 9 strikeouts, 10 Ks overall, which I believe they took him out after he got that strikeout, and only given up 2 hits on 76 pitches so far. So after that first inning, he was dialed in. He was dialed in. He knew it. He knew what he was doing. He got everybody. He got everything on track. And again, it was one of those things where those 2 runs, little by little, the offense kind of came together, and they were able to give him a good game, and they were able to really take care of business. Um, and a masterful performance, one that we were looking for, one that we were looking for, and again, a one that we needed because we were kind of looking for this offense to take care of business. But after after that happened, and while he was cruising, because they had already you know, did what they did. Um, just right after that, Pete Alonso did what he did. Pete Alonso doubled to second. Juan Soto was on, and Juan Soto scored. So Pete Alonso was just red hot. And like I said, I'll talk about that along with another guy that is not a hitter, but he's in the rotation. He's in the pitching staff that I really want to give credit to. But then this happened. So after we tied the game, right? Didn't really know what was, we were wondering, when the Mets were gonna break out early, and obviously Alonso didn't waste no time. Uh, in the third inning with that double. Then in the fifth inning, we were fifth inning with guys on base. Here comes the one and the only. 1 second, guys. Let me see, because it's up there. Oh, let me see something real quick. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I don't know why. Shout out to Seven Express. I don't even know why I was on their account, but it's on my account. Just so you guys could see it better. You guys are kind of take a look at my thing, next content, whatever. Here we go. 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 Okay, here we go. Yep. Here we go. Here we go. So they're tied, and you could kind of see it right here from my vantage point. When he hit the 2-1 double, to make it 4-2 in the fifth inning.
Let's go, Nims!
Go here, you could kind of see S1.
Mo, and he cracks one out to left field. That'll get the run, and at least Conine chasing back. He won't get it. It's up against the wall. Singer is in. Lindor right behind him. Alonso stops at third. Brandon Nimmo cashes in two with an opposite field double, and the Mets go in front 4-2. Nimmo, and he cracks one out to left field. That'll get the run, and at least Conine chasing back. He won't get it. It's up against the wall. Singer is in. Lindor right behind him. Alonso stops at third. Brandon Nimmo cashes in two with an opposite field double, and the Mets go in front 4-2. Nimmo, and he cracks.
So that happened, and then obviously, I spoke about Clay Holmes. He was able to finish, and he was able to get out of that and keep them quiet. Marte joined the party with a bloop, which is right here. Kind of see it from my vantage point, like I said.
Go to. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Made it.
What a boy, Marte. Go to. Yeah.
You kind of see it on here.
Gold rush. Little floater to shallow right field, and Lopez can't get it. Base hit. Alonso is in. Here comes Nimmo. A bloop single by Marte drives in two, and it's 6-2 New York.
I'm glad Marte got that. He needed that. That was a dope hit from Marte, adding on to the score. But then after that, we had this, and the Marlins were able to kind of cap on a couple runs. They capped in. They had Hicks ground out to Conine scored, so they had runners on base. It was 6-3, and then Derek Hill homered off of Haraska Barazaban and made it a 1-run game. Made it 6-5 Mets, and that was pretty much it. That was literally the only time that the bullpen kind of flustered in that moment. It was because of Barazaban, who's been really well. He's been really clutch for the Mets this season so far. He's been one of the big pieces in the bullpen that's really kept his bullpen what it is. So for him to give up that home run, it was, like I said, it's one of those moments where it's like you need it. And as this video is playing, I'm gonna get to it. So once we were still up 1, then Alonso came in the 6th inning, in the bottom of the 6th inning, after the Marlins kind of creeped back in, right? I'll go in.
In the game! Yeah! Got the ball! Let's go!
Let's go, B! to utilizing that strike zone, man, and he's not chasing a lot. Again, that's the discipline that we've been waiting to see from Pete Alonso. That's a Pete Alonso 2022 effect. And again, it by the way, I know this is Mets. This is shit. Look at this. So we all just like, yeah, we all looked at each other like, dude. Amazing catch. And when he was actually jogging back, because that he caught that for the final out. When he was jogging back, we all give him a standing ovation because that that's a fucking catch, man. That's a catch. But yeah, man, the Lindor would hit a sacrifice to score after that double. It was 9-5 Mets. Lindor would hit a sacrifice, and Acuna would score in their 10th run, and the Mets would go on to win 10-5. So again, a much better offensive display in the second game. Again, and it's harder because it's in that type of cold. It was super cold, super windy. So for them to really utilize that and really take advantage of it, and the Marlins kind of give them a fight, but P. Alonso again coming clutch and really opening this game up for the Mets, man. It was much needed, really much needed. Clay Holmes, who again, uh, I think who deserves his credit, really deserves his credit. Came in, he went 5.1 innings, gave up 5 hits, obviously 4 earned runs, with where the guys that he left on when Barraza Bond came in, collected 10 strikeouts. And that was really, had 3 walks, but those 10 strikeouts were really dope to see. So shout out to him for that. And he got the win. He got the win, his first City Field win as a starter. And I said in my previous series recap against the Blue Jays that the bullpen was going to be talked about. And they have been really clutch. Here are some numbers. Obviously, 7 hits, 5 of them came from Clay Holmes, 2 of them came from Barraza Bond. They gave up 5 runs, 4 of them coming from Clay Holmes, obviously 1 coming from Barraza Bond with that home run from Derek Hill. Uh, 3 walks that Clay Holmes only allowed the entire way, and then 14 strikeouts. Again, high count, high number strikeouts. Man, this bullpen's velocity and the movement on their pitches are creating high leverage strikeout situations. So, shout out to them. Obviously, 10 strikeouts with Clay Holmes, then 1 strikeout from Barrazaban, 1 strikeout from Minter, 1 strikeout from Danny Young, and then obviously 1 strikeout from Reed Garrett, who was able to close it out and secure us that win. So shout out to them for that. With that win, they were able to secure the series. And yeah, man, that was all that was needed. But then you go on to game 3. And game 3, they looked like they didn't want to even be there. They looked like they were tired. I mean, there's only one way I could really put it. And again, it was another dreadful performance from the offense. And Tyler McGill tried to do as much as he could. He struggled in the first inning he struggled in the first inning with bases loaded, and he struggled with walks. And the walks were really killed him. And it was one of those things where you were wondering, like, after he got out that first inning, how was he going to adjust? And he adjusted pretty well. I mean, obviously he got the loss. He went four innings, gave up 6 hits, didn't give up no runs, well, earned runs, I should say, and collected 7 strikeouts. Uh, and that was pretty impressive. I think when it comes to Tyler McGill, he's found his stride. Jeremy Hefner has worked with him to really figure out what he needed to do. And again, just utilizing that strike zone, utilizing that inside part of the strike zone, not trying to overthrow, not trying to throw in the middle of the zone. Uh, you know, Stay on top of that fastball. You stay on top of that fastball, everything works out. Everything plays its factor. I got a little bit of his thing right here, so I will. go and put that back up just so you guys could just see what he was able to do. And then I'll get into the offense real quick. So here you go.
Brian waits on a 2-2 pitch. And the curveball struck him out.
Through.
2-2. On the inside corner, got him looking. 28th pitch of the inning, and he struck him out. McGill comes up and in with the fastball. He strikes out 3 in the inning and gets out of a bases-loaded jam. Mets come to bat with no score. And that's the curveball he consulted with his brother about in the offseason. He comes up and in with the fastball to get Fortes one away. Coming. And Stowers goes down swinging to retire the side.
Most of
11 batters against him.
Fastball's really been working.
And the fastball in there for a call, strike 3. So, and the curveball struck him out.
You see a little bit of a curveball. Oh, nope. You see a little bit of the curve. I don't even know why I doubled that. I'm just seeing that now, but yeah, you're seeing him go to his fastball more. And again, the fastball was I wouldn't say it was a problem. But he was focusing on his breaking pitches a lot. And when he was focusing on his breaking pitches a lot, he was getting killed. So, that's something that him being able to work on to get to his fastball first. And you're kind of seeing that when his fastball is on and then he gets his secondary pitches, they're on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't seen from the first 2 starts of McGill, we have not seen something to where if his breaking pitches aren't working, he's getting more to his fastball. Or if his breaking pitches are working and his fastball is not, he's relying more on his breaking pitches. It's been something to where it's his fastball he starts off with his fastball, and if his fastball's on point, then he goes into his breaking pitches, and if both and if both are on point, he likes to mix. And I think, again, if he continues to do that based on what's working for him in the game, he's going to find success. And it's also location. A lot of the fastballs that you saw in that video, he was going a lefty batter. He was hitting the outside part. He was hitting the strike zone, but away. Again, when you saw that last strikeout that he got, which was not the curveball but the fastball, where he had a righty hitter, he hit the left side of the top of the strike zone. Again, location is a factor for pitchers, but if he can utilize his location in that strike zone, Tyler McGill is going to be fine. And again, you're talking to a guy that had no faith in Tyler McGill. After 2023, I said I don't want nothing to do with him. And, guys were saying, yo, just give him an opportunity. Let him get to where he needs to get to. As long as his team keeps believing on him, you're going to see a better McGill. And so far, Tyler McGill looks like the 2022 McGill. So, it's unfortunate that the Mets couldn't grab him a victory. He got the loss because he obviously started the game giving up 2 runs, and the Mets obviously couldn't tie it. But it was mostly the Marlins, man. The Marlins, after those 2 runs, really didn't do nothing up until Edwin Diaz came in. It was, again, I mean, it was 0-0. What am I talking about? Excuse me. He didn't give up the 2 runs in the first inning. He had bases loaded, and he got out of it, right? He cruised through. It was up until the 5th inning where, he had runners on scoring position, and Mervis kind of singled to get him in, and then Fortes added to that and scored another run in that 5th inning, and that would basically be all she wrote. Because after that, in the 9th inning, they scored on 3 more runs, and it was off Edwin Diaz. So Edwin Diaz expanded that lead for the Marlins. And Edwin Diaz wasn't even coming in for a save situation. He was just coming in to get reps because he doesn't like to sit too long, and that happened. So again, it's a little bit concerning, but there's really nothing much you could do. Again, the Marlins scored 5 runs on 10 hits, while the Mets only got 2 hits and scored 0 runs and 1 error. So, and the only positive out of all that was that Tyler McGill was able to, keep the Mets close, and he was able to dial up 7 strikeouts, and his pitches look strong. So that's literally the only positive from this game. Again, the Marlins found a way to attack when they did, scoring 5 runs on 10 hits, like I said. And, we didn't get the sweep. We could have gotten the sweep, first back-to-back sweep of the series, but you were able to take the series. And that's all that matters. You finished this homestand, And you go into this West Coast trip with the 8-4 record, much better than how we were going into the beginning of the season, with the record that we had last year. So there's a lot of positives. Obviously, Juan Soto's breaking now in terms of contact hitting. Obviously, hasn't really shown the power yet. It's gonna get there. But Francisco Lindor seems to be turning the corner. Obviously, him coming back home, I think, was a good feel for that. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. The Mets would go on to take 2 out of 3 from the Marlins, and they got 3 games in Sacramento against the A's, and then they got to go to Minnesota for 3 games. And yeah, man, it's 8-4 record going into to this series is pretty. It's gonna be pretty interesting. Like I said, they play the A's. The A's are 5-8. And we have a lot of things to look forward to. Like I said, they go to Sacramento for 3 all games. Both games on Friday and Saturday will no, excuse me. Friday's game will be at 10:05, and then Saturday and Sunday's game will be at 4:05. So 2 early games within the Saturday and Sunday, and then we go to Minnesota for 3 before we come back to play the St. Louis Cardinals for 4 games, and then we play the Phillies for 3 games here at home. So an interesting series that the Mets can really, really, really do damage on, and really just take care of what they need to take care of. Before I wrap it up here, there's 2 things that I want to get to. Obviously, my predictions on the A's. I'm predicting if the offense does what it needs to do and the pitching staff continues to hold us in, if the offense can explode, I'm predicting a sweep. If not, I'm predicting us taking 2 out of 3 because I do not see the A's winning the series. Anything can happen in baseball, but if this team is what it is and they carry the momentum that they've been on, I'm predicting at least either a sweep or 2 out of 3, obviously. And then Minnesota, I don't predict a sweep because they still got guys that can make contact, and they can still beat you. I'm predicting 2 out of 3. And yeah, you're going in with an even bigger record, and that's what it is. But there's two guys right now that I just want to mention, and I think they're worth mentioning for for an important reason, um, that I think it needs to be discussed. The first person that I want to discuss is Peter Morgan Alonso, and I kind of want to show something. Let me see if I can show it. I might not be able to show it here. I might actually, yes, I will. Let me see real quick. Uh, right here. Let's look at Pete Alonso's stats real quick. Um, before we wrap up here. I want to show you guys Pete Alonso's stats because I really think he deserves some credit and some acknowledgement right here. I got it right about here. Let me share my screen. Again, I'm doing everything on the fly because I'm trying to hurry up and I didn't have time to prepare anything before the video. But this is just look at what he's doing right now. This is amazing, man. This is amazing. And again, this is just his numbers on the way. Even with the way, 286 batting average, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, and an OPB of .423. That's amazing. That is literally amazing. Now you're looking at what he's doing right now, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's look at his stats overall. Right about now. Right now, he has an average of 333, right? He's 42 at bats. He's driven in 7 runs already. He's gotten 14 hits, 5 doubles, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, 8 walks, which is amazing to start. Um, Only 5 strikeouts, which if he's hitting the way he's hitting, I'm expecting that to stay at a low number. Not at 5, obviously it's gonna go up a little bit, but I'm expecting it to be at a low number to finish. So again, that to me is impressive. He is absolutely killing right now. And again, this is a guy that was criticized for not taking the Mets' first two deals, that he didn't know what he was doing because he wasn't getting the money that he was looking for. And it just showed that he just wanted to be a Met. So now that he was able to get through the whole contract negotiations, him being able to get back to playing baseball with the team that he grew up on and the team that he loves the most, I gotta shout him out for that. I really do, because he's really showing off right now. He's it's well deserved. He's on a hot streak, and I hope that this hot streak boils over to this road trip where he could just find himself a good stride and not have to worry about struggling and having to deal with the negativity. Pete Alonso has deserved the love and appreciation that he is getting right now. And until something bad goes wrong, which I hope it doesn't, um, he's gonna keep doing what he's doing. And again, this is the Pete that we want. We've been waiting for a 2022 Pete, and this 2025 Pete that's doing what he's doing right now. He's in he It might be better than 2022. It might be better than 2022. So shout out to Pete Alonso for what he's doing right now. I hope it continues. The other person that I wanted to talk about before we stop over here. Let me see if I could get him right here. Bam. Mr. Max fucking Kranick himself. This is a brother. If we look at his stats, this is a guy that we said, yo, based on what he did in spring training, he needs to be up here. He needs to be up here. Max Kranick has done an exceptional job, and shout out to Mendoza for going with this kid in high leverage situations. He's practically been on Kranick's side and put him in good spots, and Kranick has delivered. I mean, just look at his stats so far. He hasn't got a save yet, but his ERA is still at 0.00, 5 Ks, and his whip is at 0.22. This kid so far has been dominating. Just look at his 2025 numbers. Look at that. 9 innings pitched so far, 5 Ks, only giving up 2 hits. 2 hits. And his WAR is at 0.5. And he's got one win. He's got one win, and that was off the second game against the Blue Jays. But he's been exceptional. And this is a guy that, like I said, he had everybody's eyes open when he did what he did in spring training. And for him to start off the season the way he's starting off, he's going to be a really big piece for our pitching staff. His fastball is amazing. He's throwing 96 plus. He's got a really nice changeup. And again, if this guy can give you at least 2 innings out of the bullpen when he's there, or even for 1 inning, and it's a clutch inning, a clutch situation, that's all you're asking for. So shout out to him, and shout out to the rest of the bullpen that has been money, and shout out to this rotation that with all the injuries that's been going on and all the negative expectations that everybody's putting, they're delivering. Man, I cannot wait for this game tomorrow. Obviously, it's going to be an interesting one. I know tomorrow we have Griffin Canning starting tomorrow. And then in the second game we have David Peterson, and then for the third game we have Kodai Senga again. So 3 guys that are on the momentum right now, and hope to continue to keep this Mets team in position to continue to win games, and take that division, because as of right now, we're in first place. As of right now, we're in first place, and I believe we're in first place, or the Phillies came up and took first place back after we lost on on Wednesday, and they beat the Braves on Wednesday. But other than that, we're neck and neck for first place with the Philadelphia Phillies, whether we lead or they lead. And in order for us to keep getting there and going ahead and winning games, we have to be consistent on offense, and this rotation, whether it's the bullpen or this starting rotation, if they continue to pitch the way that they're pitching, we're going to be good, man. We're going to be good, and we're seeing a whole different team than you saw last year. So, we got the Mets playing tomorrow at 10:05 against the Sacramento A's. Shout out to my guys at 7 Express, AP, Chris, Amish. We have a live for you guys at 8:45. We got it. We're recapping the Marlins series, and we are going to talk about our predictions for this A series coming up at 10 o'clock. So again, the the live is at 8:45, and then obviously we got the game 2 hours after that at 10:05. So make sure you guys tune into that, and always follow 7 Express Podcast on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and just keep liking, sharing, following, and putting us out there, man, because without you guys, none of that would be possible. But make sure you guys follow me at Top Bunk Sports on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Always like, follow, share, and subscribe to the content, man, if you want to see more. This is David with your recent Mets series recap, Marlins versus Mets, and I will check you guys on the next video. Peace.